Right. So we are done with the first and the second module. So this week we are going to jump to module 10 instead of module 3. Um, okay, yeah. So if you have a look at your e-learner, I have updated the new section for module 10. Yeah, there is also the lecture notes uploaded already. And I have included these shelves. Oh my God, it's shelves, virtual shelves. You can see there are a few items on these shelves. Okay, before that, so module 10 is about poster preparation and presentation. So what we are going to cover today is how to prepare a scientific poster and what are the things that we need to take note, yeah, when we prepare a scientific poster, because the scientific poster is different from any other uh, informal or casual poster. So there are a few things that we need to add. There are a few things that we need to include, yeah, in a scientific poster. So that's what we're gonna cover today. Okay. Um, okay. About the subgroup list, because remember when I mentioned about the assessments last time, the course assessment, um, there are oral presentation of research proposal, preparation of research proposal, and also oral presentation of poster. So each of these carries 20%, and this has to be done in a group of 3. Okay, so means that yeah, you're going to discuss among your group members how to prepare the research proposal, how to present, and how to prepare a poster. Okay, so this one, this 20% weightage for the poster, you would have to do after we finish this module. Okay, so the information is here. The subgroup list. Okay, this subgroup list, you're gonna refer to this list for all the group based assessments, which are the poster, the proposal preparation, and also the proposal presentation. Okay, it's going to be the same group that you have to working with the group members. So this is the subgroup list. So these shelves, you just click on those items. Any underlying things, any underlying text is clickable. For example, this subgroup list, if I click on this, yeah, it will direct you to the list and whatsoever the information. This one is the instruction for poster. Here are some tips for creating a scientific poster. This is just additional notes apart from the things that we're going to cover afterwards. And then what else? Okay, here. So all of you are divided into 8 subgroups. Okay, so each of you have each of the group has to digest, read this paper. Okay, you just click on each of these later and you read the paper and you have to transform the paper into a scientific poster. Okay, so basically that's what the assessment is all about. Okay, and here is a video tutorial on how to prepare an academic poster using Microsoft PowerPoint. I think you just have to go through the video tutorial by yourself. And I'm sure that you have used Microsoft PowerPoint before, so it's not going to be something that is so new for you. It's just that you have to learn what's the format, what's the tips for creating the poster, because it's different from a normal presentation. Before this, maybe you have used Microsoft PowerPoint for preparing slides, right? So slides is different. Poster is different because in terms of the layout and also the content. Okay, so please watch this video tutorial. Click on this. If you want to have a larger version, you just click watch on YouTube, so you can have full window for that. Okay, so you don't have to stick with this limited frame. Okay, now let's move to the lecture notes for today. Or no? I'll go to the instruction after this, after we finish the module. Hold on. Okay. So all right. So today's topic, module 10, is on poster preparation and presentation. Okay, the reason why I would like um, to cover this first instead of module 3 is because I want you to do the poster assignment. Okay, because if let's say I leave this to the last module, it means that at the end of the semester, you have to do lots of things all together. The research proposal, the presentation, and also the poster. So I think it's better for you to, in this, in the third week, to focus on poster, because poster is quite easy, and it doesn't really need like so much technical things instead of, I mean, it's except for just some tips and tricks that you have to know also, but basically it's not that really hard actually. Okay, so I think it's better for you to focus on something easy first, yeah, before later you focus on the research proposal. Okay, so that's the reason why I jumped to module 10. Yeah? Okay, so other lecture groups might, I don't know, maybe the lecturer cover according to the sequence. Okay, so today we are going to look at what is a scientific poster. So here we focus on scientific poster, not just a normal poster that maybe you have seen somewhere or during a non-science exhibition. Okay, so here is a scientific poster. So what are the things that need to be prepared? How to prepare a scientific poster? What are the components and how to create it? Okay. So first thing first, what is a poster? So in general, a poster is a visual communications. You know that it is a piece of paper which is in a size of A1 or A0. That's the normal size for a poster. Okay, and where do you see the poster? In academia, normally we have special events for displaying research poster. So we have this, what we call conferences, and also symposiums, colloquium. Okay, those things, those events are actually the same, where they are the events where researchers or academics, researchers, academics are to university researchers, they are gathering, and they are oral presentation session, and also they are poster presentation session, and the theme is to discuss about the research. Okay, and it could be different, like it depends on the field. For example, even in biotech looks like one field, but actually under biotech there are few branches of biotech. There are medical biotech, plant biotech, animal biotech, industrial biotech, microbiology biotech. So the conferences, symposiums, or colloquiums, normally they are conducted based on the niche areas. For example, medical biotech symposium, something like that. So industrial biotech conference, or maybe something more specific, like maybe to certain topics, maybe on biomass, valorization symposium, or maybe on what else? On synthetic biology conference. It depends on the theme, and the theme could be sometimes very specific. Yeah. So that are the events that where we can have a look at the research posters. Okay. So what is a poster? A poster is a virtual communications that will help you in engaging colleagues in a scientific conversation. Okay, during the conference, during the symposiums, there are corners for posters, right? And if you have a look at this picture, I hope that's clear. So it's a corner for poster display. Yeah? And every poster, we call it like booth now. It's a small booth where the person who owns the poster will actually stand there and stand beside the poster, and whenever people stop by, they will have a chat or have a discussion over the poster. Okay, so that's basically how it looks like. And what is actually the importance of poster in scientific research or in research in general is because poster is a very, you can see that poster is just a piece of paper with a very, I can say, very limited space. Yeah. So meaning to say that whatever the information you put on the poster, it should be concise. Concise, do you know what concise is? Concise means it's very, in a very brief manner, but it contains all the important information. That is concise, okay? So means that you put everything in a concise manner in order to give a very simple message to the audience about your research. Okay, so having said that, it needs a certain skill how to communicate. For example, things that you have done for 3 months in the lab. Okay, how to put the things into a poster in just a few space, right, on a piece of paper. So there must be a skill, and there must be certain things that you just have to highlight. You can't highlight everything, okay? So you cannot highlight all the things that you do for that 3 months. You just highlight the significant results, the significant or the key methods, or the key things, the key points, the key message, yeah, things like that. Yeah, that's what I mean by here. Displaying your main points quickly. Main points quickly to a large group of people. A poster is a static visual medium which serves to do the talking, especially when not around, and it also is an introduction to your research. So whenever sometimes you are not there to present the poster to the visitors, so it should be able to stand alone, the poster, a good poster. meaning to say that without the help of explanation, oral explanation, the audience who read your poster, they should be able to grasp the information on the poster. So that is a good poster. Means that they can understand your work, they can get the message of the research. Okay, so it should do the talking. So how to create that kind of poster? You should include the right points. Introduction to your research work. So what's the difference between a poster and also a journal paper article? Yeah? So last week I mentioned about journal paper or journal or research article, right? Or article is the same thing, actually, it's the same thing. It's a piece of work that you publish, you send to a journal, the journal review it, and they publish it. So whenever it is published, it can be used as a reference for other researchers, and they can cite you. Okay, so that is journal paper. And journal paper, they are normally about, I think it depends. It's around 5. It could be sometimes very long, right? It can be 10, 20 pages, but it depends on the nature of the work and also the objectives. So, but having said that, it's quite a long document. Okay. So journal paper, what's the difference between journal paper or article and poster? Both of them are examples of communication. But journal paper of articles, they are more detailed because they entail everything, like, like the methods, all the results within that scope, and then it's more detailed than a poster. Whereas in a poster, you just imagine it's a piece of paper that you paste on the wall, and you have to divide it into a few sections. Like you have the introduction, you have the methods, you have the results, you have the conclusion, you have the whatever the suggestion. So meaning to say that it's a very small, like every section of it, like methods, you just have to put it in a very brief manner, right? So it's actually, it's not as detailed as journal paper or article, but the aim is just to actually to introduce your work, right, to people. To introduce. So that's what it means, to introduce, so that people know about, oh, maybe you are dealing with a new strain and you are studying about how the strain can maybe produce certain enzyme in a short time, something like that. Okay, and your main focus is to say that you are working with a new strain. Oh, people know that you are, you are dealing with that, and then you are producing enzymes, so things like that. It's a very simple manner compared to the journal article. Okay, so that's what it meant by an introduction to your research work. So what are the objectives of research poster? Okay. So the poster should act as bait. You know what bait is? Like for example, if you go for fishing, you have this bait, isn't it? Where you is actually where the fish will be hooked to. So it means that it's like in research we want to just like like give some sort of introduction, and it's just for people to know you. Oh yeah, you are working with maybe a new strain of Bacillus subtilis. It's like to get a place in the academia or in the research. Okay, especially during conferences and symposium, like for you to create a network, for you to know people, for you to be known by others, by other researchers. So the reason is because you may want to collaborate with them. Yeah? Collaborate means you are working together. And if let's say people are interested with you, especially from the industry, they can contact you, they can have a project with you. So that is the aim of a poster, is a promotion. Yeah? it acts as a promotion of yourself to people, because the conferences and symposiums, normally you would during the events, the researchers will meet researchers from other universities, from other institutions, or even from the industry. For example, like us, we are from university, right? So it would be very great if, let's say, the academics from the university can collaborate with people from the industry. Okay, so there are lots of advantages. And also, we are also not just from other universities, from other institutes, from other countries. Yeah, some of the conferences and symposiums, they are held at the international level. So if, let's say, the conference is held in maybe in the UK or in the US, you would be able to meet researchers from around the world who attended the symposium or the conference. So it's a place where you may want to create an opportunity for yourself. Right? So that's why this is the purpose of a poster. Okay. 11 seconds to catch someone's attention, 10 minutes spent on discussing each poster. Okay, so it should act as a bait that can create an interest. Whenever people see your poster, a good poster will attract the audience. Okay, so that will create a conversation. Okay, maybe like it will create a more in-depth discussion after that. Okay, right. So the poster should satisfy the audience. It should include enough content to enhance your discussion. The audience should satisfied with the explanation. Okay, it should leave a lasting impression on your audience. Okay, so this is a very important point. Okay, whenever people see your poster, oh yeah, maybe like you have something very significant that makes people remember you. You are working with a new strain, produce a new product that has not been maybe produced before. So that kind of things. So how to do that? It must be from an effective poster. Okay. All right. Yeah, as I mentioned just now, it serves as an advertisement or promotion of yourself, of your work. Significance of a poster is the most common formal presentation for large conferences. Okay, lots of poster. Discussion with immediate feedback, most interactive. Yeah, I think I've mentioned about all these points. Okay. So what are the advantages and limitations of poster? Advantages, whenever the posters are hanged at the booth, right? People can have a look at it and they can go through the things at their own pace. That is very important because sometimes when people, during the conference, there are also oral presentation. Oral presentation where people just deliver their presentation using the slides, like giving, like the same thing, like giving lectures, like this conference presentation, like 10 minutes. So some of the things might not be, it maybe the audience can't grasp the information because maybe it's too fast or it's not enough time for them to read the slides. So that's the a little bit a downside of oral presentation. But for poster, because the things are there, the posters are there, and people can go through the materials, the content at their own pace. So it's more personalized experience, right, for the audience. Okay. All materials with figures, illustration is presented on one piece of paper. It's very concise. Yeah, it's very brief. So it's very simple. People can get the information in just like few minutes compared to if they read an article of 7 to 10 pages, that might take a few hours. Okay, but for a poster, because of a poster is less wordy by nature, it should be less wordy. And it should contain illustration, more illustration. Illustration means like the graph, the figures, the pictures. So that will help to assist the understanding of the content. Yeah? Let's practice then an oral presentation. Okay, if let's say you are going for, let's say, a conference, presenting a poster is less stressful than presenting orally. So this is just for the experience of the presenters during the conference. Personal interaction with audience members. So whenever people stop by at your poster or at your booth, they can have a personal discussion, right? Rather than if you are talking to a number of people during oral presentation, is more you know, the size of the audience is much bigger, rather than if you have a personal or personal conversation with people during the poster presentation. Yeah. Anti-pressure on display. Okay, so but what are the limitations of posters? Although there are some advantages, there are also some limitations. Not to say it is not good, but there are just like some, yeah, some limitations. So you need to know how to attract the audience. That is the key thing in creating a poster. So if your poster is not attractive, people might not be interested with your work, even though your work is very outstanding. Okay. So at the end, it's all about the art of communication. So so you need to know how to attract the audience. How to attract the audience is how to create a great poster. How to create a poster that makes the audience stunned. How, a poster that makes the audience impress and, yeah, attract them to have a discussion. Okay. Space constraint to present your research, okay, because you only have a piece of paper with a few sections. The result is just like in a very small section. So you should be selective of the materials that you want to present in order to communicate effectively. Have to present over and over again for a longer period of time. Oh yeah, because of, let's say, during the exhibition, you stand at your poster. So whenever people come and go, you have to present again and again. So that's one of the limitation. Okay. You are face to face. You just have to be. Oh, okay. So here you have to entertain the audience basically. Yeah? You have to entertain the audience, the visitors. It's like fighting to prove that your finding is correct and right. I think this is more to the discussion of whether you want to how to discuss. I don't know why this point is included. Okay, so that's the limitation. Right? That's the limitation. So preparation. What are the preparation that you need to do? So before we prepare any scientific poster, you have to know the content, the scope of the things that you want to cover. Maybe you want to cover certain results only, not everything, like just the work that you have done for 3 months instead of 1 year, things like that. So you have to decide on the content first, the scope of the content, and then sketch out the envision layout. Okay, maybe you want to plan for the materials that you want to insert, and you want to match with the layout. So that kind of thing is, I think, is more to art line, art. So how you arrange the things, how you design the things. Know the size restriction of the poster. So normally for a conference or a symposium, the size is A0, A1, and it can be either in portrait mode or in landscape mode. Okay? What is meant by that is portrait. If it is portrait, then everything is like in this vertical orientation. Landscape is something on horizontal. So you are like going from left to right. Yeah. For this one, it's from top to bottom. Yeah. So landscape or portrait. Decide on the type of materials to be displayed. So what kind of materials here? Materials here refers to figures. Okay, figures, it can be photo images that you take during your lab work. Okay, maybe the setup of the equipment, the setup of the experiment, and then figures could also be graphs. Okay, this one when you want to present your results in the results section. Okay, so you have to, let's say, yeah, include the graph that describes your results. Or it could be some analysis like electrophoresis. You have the gel, the band. You would study about I think, electrophoresis somewhere in your course, maybe in recombinant DNA technology. So it's a result that display the separation of proteins. Yeah? So there are many, it's not just limited to graphs or maybe pie chart or bar chart, things like that. Okay. Or maybe images under the microscope, like the morphology of bacteria, fungi that you have observed under the microscope. Yeah. So that is meant by materials here. So all of these, you have to label it as figure. Like maybe you have 5 figures in a poster. So you have to label it from figure 1, figure 2, and then you also have to mention the caption. Okay, I'll go into that afterwards. The caption. Caption means like the explanation of the figure, what the figure is. The graph is the relationship between factor X and factor Y, things like that. Okay. So that's the material. You must be able to state your main points or conclusions clearly. Okay, all visuals and text should lead to those points and conclusion. So in short, it must make sense. The things that you display must make sense. Okay. Know the requirements for display of materials such as the size of the table, you know how many items to display, number of chairs. Oh, so this one is like at the booth, I think. So this is actually more for a physical conference. Nowadays, we also have a virtual conference. Virtual conference, you don't have to worry about the requirements at the site. Okay. How much money budget do I have? Yeah, and also this one is for physical conference because you have to print the poster. So before pandemic, we have physical conference whereby the classic way of displaying the poster is by having the printed version of the poster. Yeah, printed version of the poster and have the booth. We put it, we post the poster and present it at that site. But since the pandemic, a lot of conferences, most of the conferences and symposiums, they are held virtually. So we don't have to go to the place. But what we have to do is that there are session during the conference, whereby we have to present orally. Okay, and the poster are not printed and they are just flash using like presentation mode, like for example the slide presentation. Okay, deadline. It's not that important. So getting started, before you start, you need to know what's your message. I think I've mentioned about it. Your main points. I'll go into the key points later. What else there? Materials methods are only important to researchers with the same field and methods as just keep some of the general points. Who are my audience? Okay, this one is important. Normally for the conferences or symposiums, they are attended by people who have more or less backgrounds with you. Meaning to say that, for example, I'm a fermentation technologist. I'm focusing on fermentation. Fermentation is a branch of biotechnology. So when let's say I attend a conference, and the conference theme, there must be theme. every conference, it has its own theme. For example, my specialization is fermentation or bioprocess. So the conference that I attend would be something on bioprocess technology. Okay. So those who present or attend the conference, they must be, those researchers, they must be from this field as well. So whenever I prepare a poster during this conference, I expect that people, the background of the people, they also know about bioprocess technology. So I don't have to worry when I mention the term, let's say terminologies, technical terminologies, fermentation, for example, recombinant microorganism. Yeah, I don't have to define it because I understand that. I expect that they also understand. So meaning to say that I know my audience. So why is very important? Because whenever you create a poster for a conference, it means that you are free to use the jargons. You know the jargons? Jargons are the technical terms in your field. Yeah, technical terms. For example, fermentation. Like maybe people who are not studying biotech, they might be struggling to understand what is fermentation, maybe, for example. But because of I know that my audience are from the same field, so I just use the word fermentation, whatever the fields, whatever the terms in my field. But if let's say you are presenting your poster to general public, maybe the event is like exhibition to introduce biotech, for example, to general public. So you cannot expect to use those jargons, those technical terms, because otherwise people would not understand the message of the poster and it's going to be a waste, right? So you have to know the event, the theme of the event, and also the nature of the audience. Okay, that's very important. Yes, it's mentioned over here. The types of audience influence the shape and style and tone of your poster. So that's why you can see that infographics, let's say those infographics that are meant for public, they don't really use technical terms unless there are terms that people have to know somehow. But most of the words are very easy to be digested. Okay, so that is the key to an effective communication. At the end, we want the things to be communicated, to be delivered, the message to be delivered to the audience. Okay, yeah, specific audience. This is what I mentioned just now. Specific audience are those that are from the same field, that understand your jargons, your terms. Okay, wide range audience means like people from different backgrounds, more to general. Wide range audience is like from different fields. Okay, general is a general audience here is general. Eliminate the use of terms and jargons and use common terms. Before you start, you need to know it all starts with idea, know your message, focus on your message, write an effective abstract, know your message, focus your message. Effective abstract. The abstract is one section of a poster. Is actually the first section of the poster. And what the abstract should have, it is actually a short paragraph. Basically, this abstract is a short paragraph. It describes what the poster is all about. For example, it should have it should introduce the subject matter. Okay, let's say the research is about bioethanol fermentation. So the first sentence of the abstract should say about bioethanol is what? It's a renewable fuel which has lots of benefits compared to fossil-based fuel. Okay, so we can see that it's an introductory statement, and then followed by the problem statement. Okay, but what you want to actually solve in your project. So what's the objective of the work that you present in a poster, and how you do that? This is methods in brief. So everything up here it should be in just like one sentence each, okay? And then the results, the key results. So that is abstract, and it should be placed on top of the poster. So that would be the first section that people will digest on the poster. Okay, so it should be effective. So how to write an effective abstract, you must develop skills. Practice. Okay, of course, this one is very common for any presentation. You should practice once you have the things in place. So before you attend any conference, you should practice how to present your poster and how to maybe discuss certain points. Okay, so here are the components of a scientific poster. This is it's a scientific poster. It's not a general poster. Yeah? So scientific poster is very specialized to your field normally. Yeah? So the format, it must have the title of the work. The title of the work. Okay, every piece of work that you're doing, there must be a title of it. Maybe, for example, isolation of bacteria, or maybe thermophilic bacteria from hot spring, in from Sarawak hot spring, something like that. But there must be a title of it so that people know that, okay, this work is about isolation of thermophilic bacteria from Sarawak hot spring. So that's the key words, yeah, key terms. And then, okay, so this one is the title. It should be the first one. Okay, on top of the poster, you should have the title, followed by the name of researchers and affiliations. Okay, so researchers are normally in research, we normally do the things in a team of on average is about 4 to 6 people, okay, persons, but sometimes it could be more, and sometimes it could be just 2 persons. 1 person is very rare because normally whenever we do any research work, we do it in a team, okay? So, but maybe there are sometimes, but very rare, I can say. Minimum is 2, on average is 4 to 6 persons. So all of the names of the researchers must be included, yeah, under the title. Okay, the order is the first author, the first person, the first name. It should be the person who are doing the work. For example, if let's say you are doing the work in the lab, yeah, for your final year project, and you want to present your work, okay, that work belongs to you. The results belongs to you, but you are under a supervision of a lecturer. So that lecturer, let's say your name is what, Ahmad Ibrahim, let's say, yeah? That's your name, right? Your supervisor name is maybe Chung, Dr. Chung, Dr. Chung Hung Hui. Okay. And then let's say you have a co-supervisor, maybe Dr. Mickey Vincent, for example. So that's the order, okay? So why this person is the first name? I mean, the name is stated first because you are the person who are doing the work physically, okay? But you also have to mention your supervisor name and your whoever who related to the research. Okay, maybe your supervisor also have some collaborators who give some ideas about the research from other universities. Maybe another person is Siti Fatima, for example. So that is the order. Okay, so means that the first person is actually the main person for doing the research. Okay, so that is the name. Affiliations. What is affiliations? Affiliations here refers to the institution the persons or the researchers belong to. For example, if let's say Ahmad Ibrahim here, all these people are from UNIMAS, so means they have to put the name of the institution, university, faculty. We normally start with the Faculty of Resource Science and Technology, UNIMAS. Okay. Let's say Siti Fatimah here is from UPM. Maybe Dr. Chung collaborates with her and she is from UPM. So how to label it? You must have this. You must label it with, if let's say they are from different institutions, at the name here, you must include what do you call it? Superscript. Okay. You put it 1. Chung Hung Hui is 1, for example. Mickey Vincent is 1. Siti Fatimah is 2. So here you should label 1 for the Faculty of Resource Science and Technology, and let's say another one, 2 is Faculty of Science, UPM, which is the institution of let's say Siti Fatimah. So you should have label this one, this number. But if let's say all of these researchers are from the same institution, let's say all are from FRST UNIMAS, so you don't have to label the number because it's you don't have to differentiate them, isn't it? So this one should be removed, yeah. And the affiliation is just one institution. Faculty of Resource Science and Technology, UNIMAS, it should be full address. 9434 Kota Semarahan, Sarawak. Okay, so that is meant by the name and the affiliation. Another section is introduction or abstract. Okay, so these two sections could be optional, meaning to say that normally people would include abstract, so they would not have the introduction in the poster. So means on top of this is the title, the name, affiliation, right? And this section normally is like abstract. Okay, ignore this. This one doesn't have the right things. But the first section is abstract. Yeah? So as I mentioned just now, what are the components of abstract? It should be a very short paragraph introducing your research, the work in the poster in a nutshell, in a very brief manner. And then after that, there must be methods before the results. The correction here, should be methods, methodology. After abstract is methodology. Okay. So after the abstract, there should be a section for methodology. So how the work is done and how you describe it. Normally for poster, it's not that really ideal to have long paragraph because no one will actually read the paragraphs on a poster. So how you want to describe your methodology is normally, okay, so for the methodology in a poster, normally we describe it in a form of flowchart. Okay, flowchart, because this one is very easy to digest, right? On a poster rather than if you write words by words. So flowchart, it should describe the overall flow of your project. Maybe first you do the sampling of sampling at whatever other place, the hot spring at hot spring, and then you go for isolation of the bacteria. Okay, and then let's say you use whatever the methods, you just name the methods briefly. Okay, and then maybe you go for characterization of the isolates. Okay, so means that whenever you have the flowchart, maybe that's the last one is after the analysis, I don't know. For example, things like that. Okay, let's say these are the four sub-works of the project. So you should put it in this kind of flowchart. And it's not just about putting it like that. You must actually have this description. This is what is important. Okay. Meaning to say that, okay, first you do sampling. No, like if you read this, you would understand easily, right? The whole project, rather than you write in a paragraph, word by word, and it's so dull. Yeah? So for methodology, it's normally in the form of flowchart. Sometimes you could also, okay, what are other things that you also need to include? Here is like the, for example, the conditions, or maybe parameters that you are focusing on. Okay, maybe normally, like for example, if let's say we have fermentation, then we say the parameters, like for example, the temperature is 30 degrees. We conduct the fermentation at this temperature, and then pH 7, agitation speed of maybe 600 RPM. So you can see that, for example, here I just mentioned the condition directly. Okay, so it's understood that the things are conducted at that condition. Okay, so that's how you display or you describe the methods, and all of this is actually considered as figure. So you have to label your figure. Let's say this one is figure 1. So this is like overall flow of the project, something like that. So you have to put it into a figure. Okay, so after methodology is results. Okay, results. Normally for a good poster, you have to divide your results into different subsections. Maybe your results can be divided into 3 parts. Okay, so you can say maybe here the first part is in terms of the isolation, what identification, or you have to name the subtopics. Identification of isolates. So what's your results? Maybe you have this picture, the morphology, things like that. So you have to mention briefly what you got. For example, the isolates are identified as gram positive, gram negative, something like that. But you just write in a brief manner the point, and please use bullet points. Don't put it into long sentences, but put it just a short form of sentence. Normally we use bullet points for indicating the points. And you can also put your figures, whatever the results related to it, the features or the graph. And then let's say this is section 1, and then you put here maybe your second subtopic of your results. Okay, this is another results for the second part, and then maybe the third part is here, and this is another results, or maybe explanation about the results. Okay, so normally results and discussion, yeah, it can be, the discussion can be very brief, yeah, so it's in the form of very short sentence. So that's the results, one section of your poster, and how you arrange it, that's the art, not the science. Okay, whether this one fit or not, how you modify or adjust the layout and so on. So just now the figure, like for example, if let's say you have the first figure, the flow chart of your methods of your work, and then you continue, let's say you have a figure in your first section of your results. So this one would be figure 2, write the caption, figure 3, write the caption, and so on. Okay, and apart from figures, you can also have tables. Sometimes maybe your results are in the form of table. Okay, table, and you have this whatever the information on the table. But for table, the caption, this is called caption, whatever the description of the figure or the table. For the table, the caption should be on top of the table. For example, table 1. This is let's say summary of whatsoever. So the caption, this caption should be on top of the table, not at the bottom. It's opposite to the figure. Okay, so that is the scientific format, yeah, for placing the captions for figures and tables. Okay, so that's results and discussion. And the next part of the next section of a poster, you should also have a conclusion. Yeah? Conclusion. And normally people would combine it with conclusion and future recommendation. Okay, so sometimes it can be conclusion alone, sometimes it can be a combination of these two points. Okay, so this one also put it in a bullet form, in a short sentence. You can write sentence but make it simpler. Yeah. Okay, what's the key point? This is actually important because that is actually the key takeaways that people get from your poster. What's the recommendation for future work? Maybe you can say improvement of optimization should be done. Optimization of bioethanol fermentation should be performed, for example. So this is recommendation for future work should be performed. Something like that. Yeah? Because why you have to do it in bullet forms, it's much easier for the people to refer and to save space rather than you write paragraphs. And after conclusions, let's have a look at this. Okay, discussion here done. Acknowledgement. Okay, acknowledgement, you just put a small section, acknowledgement. Also, there should be references. Okay. I think that list should be updated. I will update later and upload the new version of your that should not. Sorry for that. References. So references, you might need some references maybe when you discuss your results and you want to compare with the results from the past, right? Maybe you mentioned about, okay, adalah you cite somewhere in your poster, okay, and then you list it down. Normally we don't have much references in a poster, maybe maximum 3, or if you don't have at all, kena ada juga lah 2 references lah at least macam tu. Yeah, so it's a very short section. Okay, and the way how you write it is also similar with how you write. I mean, the full citation. Full citation means that you mention the name of the person who write and then the title of the article, the journal, so on. Okay, acknowledgement. Acknowledgements. This one you tak payah letak ayat you would like to thank. That one also can, but then if let's say you just put the name of the bodies, let's say the research is supported by Ministry of Education, for example. So I just put like this, by points, by just list it down like this. Maybe UNIMAS, or maybe specific person or institution. Yeah, you can just list it down like that. So it would save lots of space. Acknowledgement, I think that's it. Yeah. So those are the things that you should have in a scientific poster. Okay. Components, I think this one I have covered. Okay, this is an example of a scientific poster that I view during a conference that I attended in Baltimore, US. So what interests me is that this is a poster by Toyota. You know, Toyota is a car maker. It's an American car maker. It's a vehicle maker, right? So the company we know that is very popular for producing vehicles. But what is interesting is that they also have the biotech division in the company in Japan. Toyota is from Japan, right? So this is the work done by the biotechnology department at Toyota. Can you imagine that? I never expect, like before I came across this poster, I never expect such companies, vehicle companies, to have biotech department, biotech research units. So imagine like in Malaysia, we have Proton, we have Perodua. Normally, if let's say we talk about biotech graduates, if let's say you want to apply your biotech knowledge or background, those companies will not be in our mind, isn't it? But at Toyota, they have it. They have this. You can see that this is Toyota Biotech. You see the affiliation, Toyota Biotech and Afforestation Laboratory, Toyota Motor Corporation. So means that it's a division there. So what the team at that department does, they do a research on bioethanol. Bioethanol is biofuel. You know that bioethanol, this one is it can be used as fuel. That's why we call biofuel, because fuel, you know fuel, right? Minyak, fuel, biofuel, because it is made from natural sources or through a fermentation process. So that's the word biofuel. If we just talk about fuel, it can be from chemical processes. So why they do this research, their team do the research, is because they want to investigate like what's the effect of biofuel on vehicles. So that's the way how they see it, you know, like it's very interesting. So in order to create, let's say, vehicles that can use bioethanol, they should know about bioethanol first. So that's why they do the research. It's very interesting to ponder about it. So, and I attended this conference in 2016, and it means that, of course, the biotech units at Toyota must exist long before 2016. Of course, it's like maybe 20 years before 2016. Can you imagine 2016? Let's say I did during conference, the work is presented. So means that this department could exist like 20 years ago. It's like before 2000. So the Japanese companies, they have think about biotech, the you know the vehicles company like this, they have thought about biotech long way before we think about it. Yeah. It's very interesting lah. Yeah. And I think that's the thing, our local brands, the car brands, Proton, Perodua, have to think about. We also have to have biotech units at Proton, at Perodua. So yeah, it's just a side information. Okay. All right. So this is a poster that I created during the conference. Yeah. You can see. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. After the introduction, normally, sometimes you can put the introduction, the objective and the aim under the introduction. But sometimes you want to make it more visible. You can put it under a short section after the introduction. Like here, I put aim and objective. So it's much clearer for the audience to see, oh, the aim is this, the objectives are this. Okay, so the section I forgot to mention just now. So you can see how I created the methodology. You can't see it clearly here, but I just to see the rough picture about it. So this is the flow chart, the flow chart of the work. You can see I don't have any paragraph explaining it. Besides that, I also have some images. This one is actually the setup of my experiment. This is the bioreactor that I use for the work, right? So this one. And then I also have some information in the form of table because I have some parameters or things that I want to highlight. So I put it in a table. Okay. So you can see that it's no paragraph at all for methodology. But for this one, of course, you have to have paragraph, but it's a very short paragraph. Yeah? Right. For the results, you can see the results here. So I can make it bigger. I divide it into two sections. So yeah, first, if you see here, I label introduction as 1, and then aim and objective is 2. I mean, it refers to the section. And then methodology is the third section. Results is the fourth section. So it's good because of it will actually facilitate the audience. Okay, first they go to introduction. Number 2, after that, number 3 and 4. So that's the good thing about numbering. And after in the results here, okay, because the results is under fourth section, I have 2 sections of subsections of the results. So I put 4.1, 4.1 and 4.2. Okay, and under 4.1, you can see that I have these figures, and at the end of the figure, I have this very short sentence just to state the key results of the section. What I wrote here is promising use of tested Venus medium directly for communication. You should decide on how to construct that concise sentence. Okay. Right, and also this sum sentence. You can see that I put it in a bullet form. The sentence is very short one. And then after that, I have the fifth section is conclusion. Conclusion, yeah, also I put 2 sentences, but it's considered short sentences. Yeah. And then, okay, this one is additional, research impact or the significance of the work. That is additional points. Sometimes people may have it, but sometimes people may not have it. It's up to you. But other things, conclusion, results, methodology, that are the compulsory sections that you should have. Okay, so this one is optional, I can say. If you have it, it's good. Okay, yeah, and then acknowledgement. Here is acknowledgement. Yeah. So I just put the name of the bodies. Like for example, this one is actually the grant provider, Ministry of Higher Education, and all these bodies who contributed to the work. And I put the logo of the bodies. For example, this one is the logo of the first body. This is the second body. This is because I was sponsored by UNIMAS for this study. This Ministry of Higher Education. Just put logo. Right. So that's how I created a scientific poster. And you can see in the beginning here, I have the title. This is a picture of mine. Okay, you can put your picture as well. The main researcher, you don't have to put all the pictures. If you have all the pictures in a all together, put B also. But if you put your own picture, I mean the first picture, the picture of the first author also okay, like this. And then this one you can see this is the name of the researchers. This is affiliation. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention about corresponding author. So after the affiliation, there must be corresponding author. What this means, this one you should state the email address and who should be the corresponding author. So if let's say you are doing FYP under the supervision of your supervisor, actually the project belongs to your supervisor. The main idea comes from your supervisor. So he or she should be the corresponding author of the project because it's from him or her, right? And you got the credit as the first researcher here. But the corresponding author should be normally is your supervisor. Okay, so that should be your supervisor's email address. So you should mention about it. Okay, so that's the main components of a scientific poster. What else? Writing poster, maybe just some technical things that I think you can cover from the video tutorial that you can watch later. Okay, so this is just, I can say, art and common sense. Layout, format. Format this one is normally A0, A1. But everything else, layout, the graphics, the design, the orientation, the adjustment, that one is, I can say, common sense and arts. Arts. So you decide by yourself. The text, if let's say you think the text is too small, then enlarge it and adjust it accordingly. Okay, so it must be readable at least from a distance of 1 meter. Yeah, it's common sense, right? So if it's too small, then you cannot read it. Okay, the color, if it's too, don't, yeah, there is a rule of thumb of choosing the color. Don't choose red color as the background color, right? You should use white, something that is light. Okay, font size of the tools. Okay, normally it's PowerPoint. Uh, it's a very classic tools, but I can say it's still relevant, right? Still relevant in 2022. So you can go for it later if you want to create a poster. Okay, the rest is ni lah. Okay, the current trend is moving towards paperless poster or e-poster, electronic poster. We don't print anymore these days. It could be sometimes at the physical conference, we have this screen whereby we display just the, you know, the digital poster instead of printing it, which I think is very good because it's much greener and doesn't waste the paper. And also you can do the amendments uh, from time to time, and you don't have to wait. I mean, like, even if you have to adjust things before the conference, is very convenient and flexible compared to paper poster. Whenever you have some amendments after you print it, so you have to print it again, so it's not that really practical. Okay. Yeah. So in some conferences, this one flash presentation is a session whereby there is a session for the poster presenters to just give a very brief presentation in front of the audience for 5 minutes. Okay, maybe they say, okay, my poster is about, you know, the work is about isolation of thermophilic bacteria. So yeah, things are very brief things. And then at the end, they would say, if you're interested to know more about the poster, please stop by at booth number 6. Like that. Okay, so that is meant by the flash presentation during the conference. Okay, so that's it for today. So the key takeaways, I hope that you get the points. Yeah, we are talking about scientific poster, how to grade it, what are the rules of thumbs, what are the components that you need to add. Okay, right. So any questions? Okay, you can start the task straight away after this because you have covered all the points, how to create a poster. So just go through the instruction very quickly. Okay, so if you go to ELIP, sorry?
So good, Doctor.
Okay, thank you. All right, if you go to ELIP, yeah, I mentioned just now, go to ELIP. Oh, sure. Okay, go to ELIP. Go to the section for today under module 10. Okay, you would see this one. Okay, module 10. And then you should see these shelves, virtual shelves. Okay, check the subgroup list. That's the list for your subgroup. And then the instruction. Okay, let's go through the instruction. So what you should do for the poster assessment. Yeah, this is the instruction. In your subgroup, prepare a poster based on a research article. See the shelves on the ELIP. So I have assigned every article for every subgroup. Okay, so you should transform the materials inside that research article into a poster by having all of this information. Okay, you must have title. Okay, the title of the paper. So here, the author's name and affiliations refer to the article, not your name. Okay, so you just assume that you are the authors of the paper and then you want to present it. So the author's name should be the author's name of the article and the affiliations you can find on the research article later. Corresponding author, you should look for this information as well. put the email address of the corresponding author. Introduction. Okay, now here introduction, for a paper it could be long, but you have to summarize by yourself. Let's say from that introduction, how you want to summarize and put it into a poster, you have to skim it. Okay, and for the methodology, let's say the paper mentioned in paragraph, you have to summarize it, transform it into a flow chart. So that one you have to do by yourself. Okay, you read, understand, then you transform it, put it into a flow chart, and yeah, present it in a form of flow chart. Results and discussion. Okay, results and discussion. If let's say there are some figures, important figures, put it into your poster, but you have to select which are the significant results, and then state the key findings. You can't copy paragraphs, the whole paragraphs from the paper. Conclusion as well, you have to put it in the form of simple sentences. Acknowledgements, if let's say the papers have acknowledgement, you just mention what are the bodies that they hang for. Okay, use Microsoft PowerPoint, use your creativity to transfer and skim the content. It's not just to transfer, but also you have to skim the content. Because research article, the length is about 7 to 10 pages, so you cannot include everything. Simplify the words by selecting important points only. Do not simply copy paragraph by paragraph. I don't want to see any long paragraph on your poster, okay? If possible, transform the method into a flow chart, skim the result and discussion. Okay, so after you have prepared your poster, so you have to, because this one, the assessment is poster presentation. You have to create a poster. You have to also present the poster. So imagine that you are attending a virtual conference, right? Whereby you have to present your poster virtually, like, for example, using a video conferencing tool, like Zoom or Webex. So you have to present your poster, have your poster displayed on the screen, and then you have to present it. So this one, you have to record the presentation, yeah. And the presentation should be only in 3 to 5 minutes, not more than 5 minutes, please. Okay. So yeah. So imagine, like, you just imagine like you are in a conference, virtual conference, how you want to present your poster. So first you want to say, you know, it's like this poster is about this and this. There are a few sections. So it's about explaining the poster to the audience. Okay, so that one you have to record. Turn on the webcam, okay, because in a formal presentation, you must turn on your webcam. You cannot hide your face. It's not that really professional to not have your face on the presentation. Okay, so having said that, you have to appear formally, don't appear. You have to be smart, You have to look professional. Your image. You need to say that if let's say you want to change your background, choose professional virtual background. Okay. There are lots of free backgrounds, right? So that's one of the criteria for a formal presentation. The background should be acceptable. And there are many options nowadays. Just look for the virtual backgrounds, virtual professional backgrounds. Okay, plan and decide who present what in your subgroup. Okay, let's say you have 3 persons in a group, then you have to be ready now. So this person present what and this person present what. Okay, but all of you must present because we want to see your skill of presenting a poster. So that's the purpose of this assessment. And then at the end, upload your video to your YouTube channel. Okay, I'm sure that you have a Google account. So if you have a Google account, you can log in your YouTube using your Google account, and you can upload to your channel. Okay, and then set the video to public. And we need the actual URL. Okay, you don't have to worry about let's say after this course, you can just hide it, make it private. That's fine. But for the sake of the submission later, I need the link of the URL of your YouTube. So that's why I need you guys to set it to the public. Okay. Submission, submit a PDF copy of your poster and the link of your YouTube video in the specified section on Elite, which will be created later. The deadline is 29 April. Okay, 29 April at the latest. So this one is way before the proposal deadline, so that you have completed the poster. You just have to focus on proposal letter. So previously last semester, I think because of the module is the last one, so everything is pushed towards the end. So towards the end of the semester, the students have to prepare the proposal, they have to present the proposal, they have to prepare the poster. So I think it's a bit tedious for them. So that's why I make it early. Okay, so after 29, you don't have to worry about your poster anymore. Just focus on your proposal after this. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Okay, go through the instruction. Go through the video tutorial. This one is how you create a poster using Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, watch the video on this one. Click it, click it, and then these articles, I have assigned it. So have a look at it. After this, you can discuss with the group members. Read the article first. Everyone in the group has to understand the research paper, and only then after that you can discuss what are the things that you want to put in your poster. Okay. Right, I think that's quite clear then. Okay. So any question, you can just email me. All right, so that's the end of today's today's lecture. It's not really showing the instruction. Oh, really? Oh, okay, okay. I will update it. Maybe I linked it wrongly. Okay. So yeah, that's the end of today's lecture. Thank you for your attention. I'll show back the attendance.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right. So
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you,
yeah,
Dr.
welcome.
Stacy.
Yeah, you too.
Doctor.
So those who have
Doctor.
scanned your attendance, you can leave. Yeah. Have a nice day, everyone.
Doctor,
Yes.
I have annual attendance.
Yeah, yeah. Manual attendance. Oh.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Aiman Hakim, 73302.
Okay. I will update of this. Oh. Aiman Hakim. Okay.
All right, thank you.
I will take that. Oh, okay. Right, welcome.